The first thing to do when you're going to perform DNA electrophoresis is to make a gel like this one. To make the gel, you're going to measure 20 milliliters of TBE solution and pour it into an Erlenmeyer flask. Then, with the balance, you're going to measure 0.32 grams of agarose. So you put down a piece of whey paper, and we're going to zero out the scale. And then we're going to add agarose. So now we have 0.32 grams, or close to 0.32 grams of agarose powder. We're going to take that powder and pour it into the graduated cylinder. Then we take the graduated cylinder, or we take the Erlenmeyer flask. We take the Erlenmeyer flask, we put it into the microwave, and we turn on the microwave for about 20 seconds. We'll let it run, and we're watching it while it's running to make sure it doesn't bubble over. Now our agarose is dissolved, so we're going to add another 20 milliliters of TBE solution to the Erlenmeyer flask. Another 20 milliliters of TBE. And we're going to swirl it around. And then we're going to take Carolina Blue stain and add 2 drops Carolina Blue to the solution. We're going to swirl it around again. This is the electrophoresis unit. We're going to take the casting tray, which is in the electrophoresis unit, and we're going to wet the rubber gaskets, which are these orange rubber things on the sides, so that they'll slide down when we place the casting tray into the electrophoresis unit. And it makes it fit really tightly and snugly so that you can not have any water leak out of the edges. So now we have a place to be able to cast our gel. We're going to add a comb. This comb has 6 fingers, so it's going to make 6 little holes in the gel. We're going to add the comb right there to the edge so that our holes will be in the edge of the gel. And then we're going to take the TBE and agarose solution and pour it down into the casting tray very slowly. And then we have to wait about 10 minutes for it to solidify. After it's solidified, you'll be able to kind of jiggle it and it won't move, and you can touch it and it won't let your fingers sink down into it. So now you're ready to take out the comb. So we're going to very carefully just lift the comb out of the gel. And it's going to leave some little holes in the edge of the gel. These are called wells. So these are the wells that have been formed by the comb. Once we've removed the comb, we're going to go ahead and lift the casting tray out of the electrophoresis unit, and we're going to turn it so that the wells that were formed are next to the black knob. Alright, now that the gel is in place, we're ready to load the gel with DNA. We're going to use a micropipetter, which looks like this. It has a knob at the top. The first thing we're going to do is to put a tip on the micropipetter. So we're going to stick the micropipetter down onto one of the tips in the tip box, and now it has a tip on the end. It's really important that we don't touch the tip because it could contaminate the sample of DNA. Alright, now that the tip is on there, we're going to press down on the button at the top of the micropipetter, and we're not going to let go of it until we dip the micropipetter down in our sample of DNA. Then we're going to let go of the button and lift the tip of the micropipetter out of the DNA. So now we have a sample of DNA in the tip of the micropipetter. We're going to hold the tip of the micropipetter above one of the wells, just right above it, and then we're going to press down on the button on the end of the micropipetter, and then lift the tip out of the well, and now you can see that you have some DNA loaded in the first well. Alright, now the tip of the micropipetter still has a little DNA on it, and it's a biohazard, so we're going to have to dispose of it in a biohazard bag. Our biohazard bag looks like this. So we're going to hold the micropipetter above the biohazard bag, and we're just going to pull down on the black part, and it's going to drop the tip down in there. Now we're ready to put a new tip on and get a new sample of DNA. Now you can see that all three samples have been loaded in the gel. So we have our sample of King Tut right here, our sample of Akhenaten right here, and our sample of Amenhotep's DNA right here. Notice that we skipped a well in between each of those. Now we're ready to fill up the electrophoresis unit with TBE solution. We're going to pour it into the side with the red knob, and we're going to let it cover the gel. Alright, so now that the gel is completely covered with TBE solution, we're ready to connect the electrophoresis unit to a power source. Alright, we're going to put the top on the electrophoresis unit with matching the black with the black and the red with the red end. Make sure it's on there tight. And then we're going to plug the ends of the cords coming out of the top into a power source. So black end goes into the black side, red end into the red side. And now we're going to make sure that it's on and that it's turned to volts. And in the window we can see that it's set at 132 volts. Our goal is to get it to about 125, but 132 is very close. So anywhere from a range of about 125 to 135 is going to be about a good voltage. And then we're going to have to let it run like this for about 30 minutes to an hour. And we're going to unplug it after that. After the gel has run for its full length of time, we're going to take it out and put it into a staining bath, which is a concentrated Carolina blue solution that will stain the DNA that's moved out of the well onto the gel. And after about 15 to 30 minutes in the staining solution, we'll take it out and move it into a de-staining solution like these two are here. And you can see some bands starting to show up on this one right here, where they've been stained, and then the stain is starting to soak out of the gel and it's turning white again. So they go into stain for 30 minutes and then they de-stain usually overnight for at least an hour if you can't leave them overnight. After the gels have finished de-staining, you'll be able to see some clear banding marks. So here are the wells, and the DNA has moved out over the wells and spread out, and the stain has stained them blue. So based on the pattern of DNA, we can see that we have two similar patterns here. This shows that these two are related, and this pattern over here would not be related. So if we turn it the way it was when we put the gels in, we know we put King Tut in this one, Akhenaten in this one, and Amenhotep in this one. So we can see that King Tut and Akhenaten are clearly related, while King Tut and Amenhotep are not as closely related. There's still some commonality, but they're not as closely related.